signs out front advertising the events a month in advance, what a difference it makes.
We can
Everybody-
probably take them down now because
Yeah.
we're full.
Yeah.
We're all booked up for the ice
It's,
cream.
Oh,
everybody
that's
knew,
awesome.
but you didn't have to tell us, so everybody drives by it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's in.
we're right on the,
Yeah.
on board with it.
Okay, we are ready to go.
Yes.
So welcome to the Nipissing Township Museum Board meeting for Wednesday, July the 8th, 2026. If there's a disclosure of pecuniary interest, please state it now or at any time during the meeting. I have a motion to approve the minutes. I need a mover and a seconder. Dave and Steve. Okay. So moved by Dave, seconded by Steve, that we approve the minutes of the Nipissing Township Museum Board meeting held June 3rd, 2026, as presented. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you. Okay. Julian, you're up.
All right, so there was a question about the grass seeding, where the foundations were repaired, so the grass is now growing quite well, so that's nice to see. There's no other updates at this time for the building. So for the events, we did, as many of you probably already know, we did open up the museum on Saturday, June 20th for the Barber family. That went really well. We probably had about 45 to 50 people. And I don't have the financial statistics in this meeting. I'll have the full amounts in the next one, but just it was about $370 in donations, not including the sales in the gift shop. Everyone was very grateful that we opened the museum, especially for the reunion, and they were generous as a result. So that was really lovely. So the next event was the butter making. We probably had the spots like 3/4 filled by the registration date. We did have a few last minute registrations, which we were able to accommodate. And that went really well. So for the Thursday and the Saturday, each one had 19 people. And about 3/4 of the people that came to the workshop took a tour of the museum after they were done with the butter. We had at least one family come back another day to take a tour. Quite a few of them also went into the gift shop and purchased candy as well. Certainly there were a lot of new faces, which was nice to see. And I just wanted to say a really big thank you to all the board members that came out on either day and helped out with the setup, the cleanup, and essentially ran the workshop. It meant that staff were available wherever needed. So we had a few tours. We had a few people come in for the candy store, and we were able to sort of provide for the workshop, but you guys did most of the work, and it was absolutely wonderful. So Emma was able to work on other projects and get some other things done at the same time, which was great.
It was interesting to see that some of the people that were there were not even from this area. Hamilton,
Yeah, Hamilton.
Alliston.
Yeah, not horrendously far, but you know, a couple hours
Yeah.
drive within
Yeah.
Ontario, often visiting friends or relatives, and they took the workshop together.
And then there was the lady that came that has the camping facility,
Yes, yeah,
which has given us a new outlet for promoting events. And she was quite eager to help with that.
yeah. So I had a few posters for Heritage Day, which she took with her when she went home.
That's good.
But you did a great job organizing it.
Well, you guys made it very easy.
It was a lot of fun.
Good.
We did find out though, that when it's really, really hot, it doesn't, the butter doesn't work as well.
No.
Yeah,
So next time,
They
so if
had
we do it
whipped
again,
butter.
we'll maybe bring out a cooler with some ice
Yeah.
and people will take a break and stick it in the ice
But
for.
the Saturday was perfect.
Saturday was
Everybody
fine.
got butter.
Yeah, even though it was hot, it wasn't as humid, and that helped. So the total cost for the ingredients for both the workshops was $138.58. There were some items that were donated. So for example, Bell Hill donated the maple syrup, which will also get used for the ice cream and for some drinks for Heritage Day. Steve Kirky donated a dozen of the mason jars, and the remainder of the mason jars were ones that we already had at the museum from a previous year. And some of those ingredients will also be used for the ice cream workshop as well. So, and the combined revenue from both events was $195. So there's about $56 of profit. So that worked out quite well. The $5 price was, it definitely covered the costs, and it was very affordable. No one raised an objection about it. So that was quite good. So for the ice cream on July 18th, we now have 14 people in the morning and 17 people in the afternoon. So we'll have 31 total. And that's it, registration closed. We do have more in the second one because one is a large family group. So there'll be adults and kids. They'll be able to help each other out a little bit. I think it'll work out okay. For the rope craft workshops, so far we have 4 people signed up for the rope baskets. And I've had a few inquiries, but we also haven't done a lot of advertising for that yet. So
I just
cool to
put
see.
them up
Okay,
in
perfect.
Tawasin.
Perfect. So that's it for the workshops, unless anyone has any questions. Okay, so for Heritage Day, a few families actually from the butter making workshops picked up some entry forms for the children's craft competition for Heritage Day. And the information was emailed to South Shore Education Center, who forwarded it to the students' parents. Requests for donations for the silent auction were sent out at the beginning of July. So we've already got at least one from Hunters Bay. So they're donating a ramp pass again this year. For craft vendors, the only vendor we've had apply so far is a company called Leaf Filter. So they've offered a sponsorship in order to attend as a vendor. And it was explained to the representative that the museum is looking more for local vendors and locally made crafts or products. And this is a company that is from, I believe, near Toronto. And they do more sort of commercial gutter solutions. But they are interested in attending, and as I said, if allowed to do so, they are offering a sponsorship for the event. And I've let them know that I'm bringing it to the museum board for decision.
So we do have a motion tonight. It's all in your packages as well, for the board to decide whether we would want to do that. And it wouldn't just be for this one vendor. We would have to open it up for other commercial opportunities. And the board would need to determine what the amount would be. We would look for from a commercial group coming in. And we could designate an area so that we could leave, as Jillian said, the local crafters, their area for people that are attending Heritage Day to come. So certainly we're looking to the board to have some input and discussion on this.
Okay, so before we move on, then let's do the motion for that, and then we can have a discussion on it, and then Jillian can complete her Heritage Day, or is that it, basically?
Well, it's do we want to accept or reject the sponsorship offer?
No, but do you have any more about Heritage Day that you want to discuss with the
Nope.
board at this point? Okay, so we'll do that right now then. So I'll need a mover and a seconder for the motion, and then we'll discuss it. Debbie? Alice? Moved by Debbie, seconded by Gladys, that the Nipissing Township Museum Board hereby expands the participant role to allow commercial businesses to participate as a vendor/exhibitor at Heritage Day events, and that the minimum donation for commercial participation shall be, and we have to decide if we're even going to do that. So does anybody have anything they'd like to say?
I think we're getting away from, by having commercial vendors come up here from Toronto. They're gonna need a pretty good piece of property to set up on. And then what if we get 2 or 3 more major companies say, you know what, let's go do this, and it'll just become like going up to.
It'll be like a home
Memorial
show.
Gardens home show.
Yeah.
Exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, I personally agree. I think the Heritage Day event should be kept as a heritage event. You know, like one year, I know we tied it in with some, like garage sale type stuff.
That was a different event. That was.
Yeah, it was the
Fall
same,
Fest. It was a separate event.
but it was something we did for the museum, was it not?
So that year we had a Heritage Day in August, and then in September, we had, yeah, so
yeah.
we called a fall community celebration, and it combined, the recreation committee's trunk sale and
I just
the
don't think, 'cause
museum's.
and I
sort
know
of
there were a ton of people that
activities.
came for it. I don't believe that it was well received. I didn't see a lot of people buying stuff over there and stuff like that, which is irrelevant because it wasn't something that the museum did. But I just think it's better if we keep it with local people that make things locally. And the gentleman that comes and does the blacksmithing,
Mhm.
and because that all ties in with the history of the area. And I agree with Dave that I wouldn't like to see it expand into like a home show event. So if they want to come up here and promote their products, they should pay to go to the home show.
Yeah, or to maple syrup, like the arena's full with all.
Yeah, or the Maple Syrup Festival, yeah. So we would have to, does anybody else have anything?
No, I agree.
I agree. You agree? Yeah, you too, Gladys? Okay, so we're gonna change this motion, or
You
did you
can just,
make one?
you can just leave it, and if the board votes on it and nobody, it isn't carried, then it'll just be defeated.
Okay,
Yeah,
so do you
can-
want me to do the for and against?
No,
No?
you can just call for a vote, and then if nobody votes, then the motion would just be defeated.
Okay, so we'll do it that way. So, the motion reads that we would allow the participation and that we would allow them to make a minimum donation. So all in favor? Okay, seeing none, the motion is defeated.
Yep, you can just write defeated on there,
Perfect.
yeah.
And Jillian will leave it up to you to contact them and say that the board has decided that's not the way they want to go. Nothing personal against the company, none whatsoever.
And it'll be noted in the minutes that way. That the motion was
Yes,
defeated.
absolutely. Okay. Oh, in regards to Heritage Day and the
Yep.
food.
Yep.
We talked about quantities of hamburgers, hot dogs, and that type of thing. Did we decide whether we were doing sausage or did we not? Because I thought you were gonna check.
I believe we were going to do the same items that we had the previous year. I double checked the quantities and let Will know. So usually he arranges for, because the fire department runs barbecue, he arranges for the bulk that's sort of closest in quantity to what was used up last year.
right. So, and just in regards to events, you saw that, Jamie Tepner, I can't say that word,
Oh, Plentudinous,
that's it, Powassan, he
okay.
posted about our, Shoots and Ladders game.
Oh, did he?
He did.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
he
Oh,
posted
that's
it
lovely.
and he said where it was available to be purchased, and I copied it and posted it as well.
Okay,
And I sent you an email to let you know that the museum had been selected. Oh, I don't
was
have,
that on Facebook or was that on email?
no, I sent it on email.
Okay, I'll have to double check that because I didn't see it today.
Yeah, it's one of the things that they're there was no money or anything involved, but it was something that was being promoted and the Nipissing Museum was
Was that
chosen.
Andrew Hines, travel
That's it.
article?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I believe it was
Yes.
already shared to the Facebook page.
Yes,
think
I did, because I read it on
Yes.
the weekend. It was a
Yes.
great article.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, so, and that was another thing that now has been put out to make sure that, let the people know that the museum is there. So we're starting to get recognized. It's awesome.
Well, actually, we had quite a busy day for a Wednesday early in the summer today. I think we had about, we had over a dozen people actually.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So what has our throughput been so far this year?
So we had about 45 for the Barber family reunion. We had, because we had more people than just came to the butter workshop, so there were probably about 22 to 25 each of those days. There was one day we had no one last week. And then I believe we had about 5 or 6 on the other day. I'll have all these numbers together for July when I report about it in August. But to be honest, it's looking pretty good so far.
That's awesome.
So,
Yeah.
That's great.
That's good.
Okay,
oh, actually, I forgot, it's not on the report because the students and I were talking about it. So we were wondering if the ice cream goes well, is that maybe something, do we want to make one flavor of ice cream for Heritage Day and then have the toppings available? So that might be something we can talk about at the next meeting if people want, but because we don't
or you mean
because
like,
we used to serve frozen yogurt. We did used to serve a fair amount on Heritage Day because it would be hot. People would be staying for quite a long time. They'd be outside, not just in the air conditioned buildings. And it's something that we'll be able to use up some of the ingredient, if we have leftover ingredients, something we can use up those.
are you suggesting that the people make their own ice cream?
No, it would be,
You would
we
make,
would make one big batch and then once it's gone, it's gone.
okay.
Okay.
But that's just me. Okay, so if there's nothing else in event planning, I think, does anybody else have anything they want to add or ask? No? Okay, artifact status reports.
So one of the students has been working towards transferring artifacts from either that are sort of stored loose in the storage room at the office building at the museum, or in shoe boxes, which aren't ideal, into archival quality boxes, and rearranging things a little bit to make more effective use of the space and to make it easier to find everything as we're going through updating the cataloging. So that's about it for the artifacts.
Exhibits.
So the students will both be assisting with the development of the interactive remembrance exhibit. So, and the waterways exhibit is sort of the background mostly complete, and rough draft for the text blocks are about 50% complete, so it should be ready for Heritage Day.
Okay, and there will be no strategic plan update at this time, would there?
I just had a note about sort of the dates and the times for the butter workshops, just for if we are to plan similar type workshops for next year. So the dates and times seem to work quite well. The Thursday definitely filled up faster. I think part of it was that it was right next to Canada Day, so kids were newly sort of off school. No one was really traveling yet, and they didn't have and so for those that were sort of doing weekend activities, they were available on that Thursday. And the Saturday slot did fill up eventually, but it definitely was slower. So sort of useful information. We also had a few people ask about other types of workshops, not all of which would be feasible at the museum, but it was nice to hear that there was interest in more and varied workshops at the museum. Overall, the workshops so far have been quite effective outreach, and have encouraged quite a few new visitors to come to the museum. And as I said, a lot of the participants took a tour while they're there, and a few came back another day.
And you made a note of the different things that the people suggested we could maybe consider, that most of them we couldn't do, but that was okay.
Not the ones that I didn't think it was feasible.
Yeah, the one lady that wanted to do, I think she was referring to the tea and talk.
Okay,
And she just said that we did I remember how she worded it. It wasn't a high tea.
But it was almost, I was with you when she was.
Yeah, and she said it was so well attended and it was so lovely, and nobody does that up here.
I
And
think the command museum, I think, does something like
well,
that.
maybe she didn't know about that. So,
Yeah.
but she had come obviously to ours, and
Mhm.
she wanted to know if we were gonna do it again this year. And I said no, but we would add it to our list of things that potentially in the future we would consider. So, and I knew that one's the one you would have written down. She also wanted to know how to make clotted cream and
That's
Yeah.
mince meat and,
Oh, sourdough bread.
yeah, she's the one,
Sourdough starter.
somebody
Oh,
else
yeah.
somebody wanted
Oh, that's what it
sourdough
was,
starter.
sourdough starter,
Yeah,
yes.
and you can't do it, so, no.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do a lot of things like that. And actually, I wasn't sure whether or not they would put up our flyers. Cause
They usually do.
they
yeah.
usually do, but when I
So-
took it in and the board right inside the main doors is like crammed, and the lady that works there. I don't know names very well, so I'm terrible with names. But anyway, as I was leaving, she said, bring me more. I'll put them on the other bulletin board. So I will take
Pretty
them in.
enthusiastic
Yeah.
about public events.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was lovely. And the library took them, so that was great. Unfortunately, the new owners at the Value Mart are not as cooperative. So you have to get permission from the owner now to get a flyer put up, and she didn't put the flyers up that I left, so
Okay. Well,
that's
good
okay.
to
I got
know.
other places I take them. We're all good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the only other thing I had on my list was about the Streams and Ladders game, but we already talked about that. Because it came up, but, there are about 10 assembled copies. And there's some additional materials that could be assembled together. They just need labels and instructions. And we priced them about 18, because that was roughly close to the production cost, but, yeah. So,
Did we sell any?
Sold two.
We did sell two.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
So.
Okay. Is there any new business? And are there any future events that we haven't discussed tonight?
Not this year.
No, it's just on the agenda,
Yeah.
so I'm asking. Okay, so, I'm seeing no further discussion. I'll call the meeting to adjourn. I need a mover and a seconder.
Sure.
That's, yeah.
Yes.
Moved by Alma, seconded by Gladys. that the board meeting is hereby adjourned at 6:24. The next meeting will be held Wednesday, August the 5th, 2026 at 6 p.m. All in favor?